We are picking up straight after last session, which saw a few things happen. Mainly the fact that Helena, who was on her way to meet Cassie, was picked up inadvertently by a man wearing a large hat. Just before that, Cassie and Drex had traveled to a theater, Le Théâtre Grotesque, where they had encountered Cassie's Oraculi, the mentor, Nicola, who had warned Cassie very, very seriously not to go venture forth beneath the Edgewater Hospital, because there are things there that are not meant to be seen by mortal or kind or kindred or kin alike. Soon after that, Drex was convinced by a voice in his head to leave Cassie's side, leaving Cassie a little bit disheartened at being abandoned thusly, which was only made even worse a little later when Helena, who was supposed to call Cassie, did not do so. And in the meantime, our good friend Teddy visited with her mentor, Nora, along with Helena, who got into a bit of a tiff with Nora, who warned her against keeping the snake that has been given to her, because 'tis evil, and of course, Helena being evil just said, "For you, I'm keeping my snake." And in a kinder encounter, Teddy was given a dog called Prince, I believe, by Nora. My friends, we thus pick up tonight. Let's go quickly around the table and tell our friends who you are and who you are playing, and we will plunge right into it, and we'll begin with Creep.
Hello, I'm Darling Creepshow. I'm just your resident creep on Twitch. I play TTRPGs all across the internet, and on my channel I primarily paint miniatures, and you can find me everywhere as Darling Creepshow. Tonight I am playing Teddy, the gangrel, the girl in the gilded cage, and I think I'm going to a party.
So it's about the party. Speaking of party, the ultimate party girl who brings the joy, the effervescence to every party she attends, Myriad.
I don't know if you're going to say me or Bones, so I didn't unmute. Hi, I'm Myriad. You can find me here on Twitch, playing games, doing TTRPG stuff. I have a homebrew campaign on Saturdays that is currently on a hiatus as we prepare for season 3, so we'll be back in April after GaryCon. But for now, I'm everywhere else doing a whole bunch of other things. And I'm playing Cassie. She's a Malkavian. She's doing fine in every aspect. Nothing to worry about here.
It's all good. Mode. Thanks so much, Myriad. Next up, the person who will try to sell you a CPAP machine, Bones.
Hi, that's me. I'm Little Bones 309, your favorite indie gamer here on Twitch, who plays a bunch of different TTRPGs all around the webs with all of my friends. And over here I play Helena, the occult shop owner, who is a caitiff, who has suddenly made a major error, thinking that the car was for somebody else, not this scary man. And she also has a pet snake named Gil, and she loves him very much, even if he is the sign of ultimate sin.
Indeed. And speaking of the sign of ultimate sin, next up we have Mornian, who has still not, for all his efforts, recovered his mustache.
I'm trying so hard. I am Mornian. I play Drex. I'm a bit of a private investigator who currently is missing a pint of blood and is terrified what's going to happen about that. We'll find out. Other than that, you can find me in one of these amazing ladies' chats being a general pain in their butt.
Thank you so much, everybody. All right. We will begin tonight's session, as I said, immediately after the unfortunate carjacking or car pickup. Or, yeah, you did the wrong Uber, Bones.
Classic Bones moment.
Classic. My friends, a little poetry to begin with, because you know what, I'm a soft, tender-hearted fellow. A little bit by Percy Bysshe Shelley. It's called Wake the Serpent. Wake the serpent not, lest he should not know the way to go. Let him crawl which yet lies sleeping through the deep grass of the meadow. Not a bee shall hear him creeping, not a mayfly shall awaken from its cradling bluebell shaken. Not the starlight as he's sliding through the grass with silent gliding. The most primal things often lay dormant within the most civilized heart. At rest, the creature resembles nothing more than a husk, something atavistic long forgotten. It sleeps in dust and rust, and its breathing is often so shallow that it appears dead. But it is not. Human society prides itself on its ability to exist through logic and civility, but this is the starkest of lies, a self-delusion of a magnitude once reserved for titans and gods who thought themselves immortal, immutable. Yet where are they now? And where's your logic, your civility in the face of stark terror, the kind held deep within the darkest reaches of the night? Humanity's most ancient and well-honed instincts, those that drive them to eat, to fuck, and to kill, ever lay close at hand, ready to be summoned at a whim. So what then of these instincts in a creature who nightly rouses them, who operates almost exclusively on them? It's a liberation, of course. When all that is left to worry about is eating, fucking, and killing, things become very clear. You do or you die. We are the gods, the darkest of lights. Hold aloft your flame, child. Hold aloft your flame of humanity. Cling to it. Stay within its feeble embrace. But soon you must decide whether you are livestock or God. Extinguish your light then and summon forth the eternal night. Be a god. Consume. Fuck. And kill. Helena, you get into the car. There's a man sitting behind the wheel. He has a wide-brimmed hat, sunglasses, wearing a long coat. He looks at you and says, "Not who you were expecting, love, eh?" BMW takes off.
No, you're not. And I think she's gonna go ahead and start texting Hayden now.
Well, I have been dying to meet you. I've been by your shop. Left you a little present. I hope you found it satisfying.
So you're the one who left Gil. I named him Gil.
Oh, did you? Well, one should name their pets.
Why?
Well, because then you give them identity,
No.
Oh.
Why the gift?
Oh.
Why come wanting to meet me so badly?
Well, I think we have so much in common, you and I.
You think so?
I think so.
Why's that?
Well, I'm going to show you rather than tell you. Are you up for a little night out on the town, a little stop at a goth club? Perhaps I'm told you're quite the toast of the goth society here in Chicago. Why? They call you the goth mother, don't they?
Something like that.
That's a very lofty title. Are you really the mother to all these wayward gothic children?
They need somewhere to go. They need a place to hang out. I'll look after them.
They do. They do. They're so lost, adrift, without any sense of worth or direction, without any value to them. You give them value, do you?
I think so.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna get along just fine. There's some friends that like you to meet. I quite assure you'll be perfectly safe, and I'll make sure that you return to your shop before the sun's up. I promise.
I was supposed to meet a friend that's whose car I thought I was getting into, and just throwing it out there, I don't think he's gonna be too pleased knowing that you've picked me up and now we're going out, and
Well, you know what? You get used to that. People being displeased the way you do, and when you're one of our blood, you get used to that. People are so prejudicial. They always expect the worst of us with zero provocation whatsoever.
What do you mean, one of our blood?
Well, are you a fan of classic rock music?
What do you think?
Probably not, but do you know the band AC/DC?
I know who AC/DC is.
Right, they have a song called Who Made Who. If you made them and they made you, who picked up the bill, and who made you? Who made you, Helena?
I don't know.
Well, how about we find out? My name is Levac, by the way. Pleasure to meet you.
I wish I could say the same, but the getup, it's a little much.
Oh, just a very big fan of the Mission. Mission UK, of course.
Oh, sure. Of course. It's a look.
Well, you got to give the people what they expect.
Okay. Let's go to this goth club.
Have you ever been to the Skull Society Club?
Have I? Should imagine.
You have. It is a club that
yes.
is built in the catacombs of an old Masonic temple.
Yeah. I think that's, yeah. I think she'll sort of like lean back and almost get a little prickly. Yeah.
Very well. And the car drives on into the night. Thanks so much, Kurt, for the advantages that you bestowed upon my players. You all have Kurt-gifted fire advantages, so I'm guessing we all have one, though I don't use them. So I will put one in a pool, and whoever needs it first can use it. Thank you, Kurt. Thank you very much. Somewhere else across the city, Drex, after leaving the side of Cassie at the Teatro Grotesco, you found yourself drifting through town, not too sure where to go, what to do. As you're starting to wonder perhaps whether you should have left or not, your phone rings.
He'll pull it out and look to see if he knows who it is.
It's a little picture of a sun.
Hey, Sunshine, what's new?
Well, I don't know if it's new. Pretty much all the news is old news, right?
For the most part.
Nothing new under the sun. It's what they say. It's all been done before. Everyone's just out there slinging the same old shit.
Yeah. What shit you slinging?
Your friend, Silver. Remember him? The one putting a little piece of wood right through your heart?
Yeah, don't think I'll ever forget that particular friend.
Well, you know, there's some friends you forget, some friends you'd rather not forget, and some friends you'd rather forget, and he's probably one of the latter, but you're not about to forget him because I have found him.
Interesting. Where?
At a downtown club. I'd be interested in going down there and having a little chat with him. Would you feel like tagging along?
I could not think of anything I would like more.
He's not alone, though, so I think I'm going to call some reinforcements. You know a place called the Skull Society Club?
I heard of it before.
Yeah, the old Masonic temple on Blanchard.
Yeah.
It's downstairs. How about you show up, hang out in the shadows for a few seconds? I'll call some friends and we'll head down there and maybe ask him a couple pointed questions or two.
I'll meet you there.
Sounds like a plan. He hangs up. What would you like to do, Drex?
Drex is going to feel into his pocket where he keeps the stake that was into the coat of jacket pocket, and feel the stake is still there. And then
It's still there.
kind of look around a bit. Would he know about how far it is?
I would say that it's like, a few city blocks away from where you are.
He would just kind of keep his wits about him, stay almost skulking, but begin making his way that direction.
Would you give me a perception and awareness roll, please? Very good. I'm going to come to Cassie after. Which will probably involve Teddy also.
And what am I aiming for?
You're looking for 7s. So every 7 or up is a success. If you have 1s, they cancel successes.
3 success, 1 critical success at 10.
Excellent. As you travel down the various alleys making your way towards the club, you are fairly certain that you are not being followed. When you get to the club, do you wait outside? What do you do?
Drex is gonna make his way in kind of slowly and look around. It doesn't look like it'll be a difficult place to find somewhere he's not really pried upon.
Let me tell you this. I think that as an Nosferatu, and especially as a former city engineer, you would probably know a sort of backish, secret entrance-ish from below if you want to use that, or you can use the front door. What would you like?
It never hurts to get a lay of the land before people know you're there.
Okay.
We'll go in the back way.
So you make your way down into the sewers and find your way through various maintenance tunnels into the lower basement of the club. You can hear the boom, 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 boom of the music playing, and the place is kind of a place where vampires hang out a little bit. So it's not an Elysium, however. So there's no protection. Across the city, standing at a bus stop, watching the last few lines on her phone dwindle down to nothing. Cassie. What are you doing?
Cassie probably waited at the bus stop for probably about 3 or 4 hours, just sort of watching the percentage on her phone tick down. And when she goes to sort of click the button for like the screen to light up, and she notices that it doesn't light up and that it's dead, she'll click the flip phone closed, and she'll get up and she'll start walking back to her apartment.
As you walk down the city streets heading towards the apartment, you hear footsteps coming up behind you and catching up to you. Hey, Cassie. You see Cora has caught up to you.
Oh.
Sorry, did I scare you? I didn't mean to scare you.
No, you didn't scare me.
Where are you heading?
You disappeared before. People think they think that you weren't there.
What do you think?
I think you're in front of me right now.
Next to you, at least.
Well.
You okay?
There's a lot that's been happening the last few days. Drex had gone missing, and then we found him, and Helena was supposed to call me, and she never called me. And Nicholas said not to go to the hospital.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do you think I should go to the hospital?
Well, I mean, usually people don't want you to do things because there's something there for you, right? I mean, like, the whole Adam and Eve and the apple tree thing, like, put the tree there, but don't eat from the apple, and then you eat the apple, and then you get all the wisdom and knowledge, and you learn how to fucking all that good stuff. Of course, you lose paradise, but, sometimes you just have to pay the price for the things you want.
What even would paradise be anyway?
Oh, I don't know. I really don't know. Hey, lady, watch where you're going. You realize you're just about to step into the street. Cassie, a car just rolls by in front of you. Jesus, lady, you're trying to get killed.
Sorry.
You don't recognize where you are. You've been walking, you don't know for how long. You're in part of town you've never been to. Cora's not there.
Oh. Cassie just sort of stares at the spot that Cora was in for probably a bit too long. And then she tries to look around to see if she can find any buildings that might be familiar.
You see up ahead, it's a ways back, but it's very big, so it's easy to see. It kind of rises up. There's this dark building that is just this weird kind of squarish building that you've seen before, dark. It kind of disappears into the fog all the time. There are a few strange red lights, like some of the windows are lit up red. And you know that's where Teddy lives. That's the Aegis building.
Cassie looks up at it, and then she'll look to the side at one of the other buildings, probably right next to her, with windows, to look at her reflection, to see if it's there.
You look in the window, and it's a little coffee shop or something, and there's a neon sign that says open, and as you look in the mirror, in the window, you don't see a reflection, you just see the empty street, and then suddenly the neon sign goes out as the place closes and the lights inside dim out, and you can just make out a shadowy image of yourself in the window.
Oh no. Then she'll look sort of back up towards the building she knows Teddy lives in. Kind of glancing around. Okay. Okay. And then she'll start walking towards that building.
You will cross the few blocks over, heading there. As you approach it, it's the strange building because it's kind of like they've dug into the ground and have built this huge kind of empty cement basin, and there are two ramps that go down underneath it on either side, and this thing kind of comes out of it straight up into the ground, but it gives this impression of a moat, kind of an empty moat around this building. And as you approach, there's of course this fairly high-tech barrier all around the building, and you when you approach it, there's a guard shack there with a couple of guards next to the main kind of garret where the cars would go in and out.
I'm gonna approach the guards. I assume is probably the best course of action.
Mm-hmm. There are two of them, and they're kind of talking to each other.
Excuse me?
Anyways, man, I miss Jordan. Like, it's just not the same without.
Hello?
Oh, geez, lady. I didn't see you there. Ugh, I got a heart attack. I'm not no spring chicken anymore.
I'm here to see my friend Teddy.
Teddy? Is there a Teddy who lives here?
Theodora, I think is her name.
You're friends with Miss Theodora?
Yeah, I'm gonna hold up my phone. My phone died. I wasn't able to call ahead. She's not expecting me. I was just I was in the neighborhood and just needed to see her. if you could maybe can you like ring up to her, see if she's in. I don't want to bother her or anything, but
They're both kind of just staring at you, kind of strangely. And then you see there's a phone up against the wall, and there's like a little red light on it, and it turns on. One of the guards reaches over. Yes, Theodora. Then he looks at you. 10-4. He hangs up. Someone will come and fetch you, and someone will let Miss Theodora know you're here. If you wouldn't mind just stepping through the door and waiting over here, please.
Oh, okay. She kind of shuffles sort of awkwardly, a little hunched into herself as she goes and stands where directed.
What's Teddy doing? You've just returned home maybe an hour ago from Nora's. You lost track of Helena. You met someone named Lee who advised you a little bit about, he seemed to know perhaps a little bit something about your blood or the origin of your blood, and he seemed to think that it was not good news. But you have Prince with you who has, interestingly enough, as you arrived at your apartment, things had been provided from a bed and toys and various other things already as you stepped into the house. What are you doing at this point? It's, slightly past midnight.
I imagine that Prince was a street dog, and being the kind of person that Teddy is and the way she keeps her apartment, the first thing she probably would have done is given Prince a bath. So I imagine at this point in time, she's sitting on the floor. There's probably towels all over, and she's got her blow dryer out, her like super nice, like $600 ion blow dryer, and she's blow drying Prince with like her legs set out in a big wide V, and he's kind of sitting there, and she's probably petting him and cooing and doting on him while she's drying him off.
The Aegis' in-house version of Alexa, called Oracle, dings, and then the smooth voice of Oracle comes in. Theodora, you have a guest at the front door, one Miss Cassie.
Bring her up, please.
Very well. Downstairs, Cassie, you are waiting near this long, blank, black wall. There's a little walkway that goes across the moat. And there's just this blank black wall there in this kind of little ensconced area, and you're sitting there, and then at some point you hear ding, and you see a little light on the wall, and a door that was kind of hidden pushes inside and slides over, and there's an elevator there. Miss Theodora waits you. You hear a voice say from inside the elevator.
Oh, it's actually kind of creepy. Okay. I'm gonna walk into the elevator, like very slowly, kind of looking around.
There's nothing in the elevator. No buttons, no lights, nothing. It's just this blank gray chrome interior.
Hold on, I feel like I should.
Like you hear, welcome to Aegis. We're here for your protection. And the doors close. Across town. Bones. You've arrived at the club. You've gone through past the line of people waiting to get in, all young goth kids, many of whom you recognize. You walk into this space that is this cavernous, used to be these kinds of catacombs that were built under the Masonic temple. You have zero clue what used to go down there, but you figure it's probably not very kosher. And the place has just been built up with all these red and orange lights. The music that's playing is pure 80s and 90s club goth. Sisters of Mercy, Bauhaus, Rosetta Stone, Alien Sex Fiend, all that good stuff, blasting super loud. Place is pretty packed. You recognize a number of kindred that you know, as well as other people, other ghouls, things of that nature. But as you I've spent some time now with Levesque in a car. I would like you to make a perception plus awareness check for me.
Okay.
You're gonna be looking for 6s.
Okay. Perception plus awareness. Alertness? Or awareness?
Alertness, yeah.
Alertness. Okay, so that's fine for them. You said 6s?
Yes.
That is 2 successes.
You've heard of before kindred who have the ability to appear as if they're still alive, and you know that and if you concentrate and use the power in your blood, you can make yourself appear alive for a short period of time. You breathe, your skin becomes warmer, your cheeks get rosy, things like that. You're not too sure about Levesque because the entire time you've been in the car with him, and even now, he appears to be alive. He breathes, his skin is flushed. He's showing a lot of signs of not being a vampire.
I think she would just outwardly ask him that over the music. Just, what's your deal?
Sorry, what?
Your deal. What's your deal?
You want a deal?
No, never mind.
Let's sit over there. Booth away from the speakers so we can talk. It's kind of loud.
Whatever.
What?
Okay.
He guides you around the back. From your vantage point, Drex, you have managed to find your way, I'll say, up into the catwalk area. There's like a catwalk that goes around where people maintain the lights and whatnot. And you've managed to you might get yourself up there using your obfuscate and whatnot. And from your vantage point, you notice Helena coming into the bar with a man with a wide brim hat and a long coat. You have also spotted Sunshine's there, and he's kind of giving you the what's up, and he's kind of like, I'm going to check around, see if I can find him, but he should be here, sort of thing. But you do notice Helena coming in with this other fellow.
Knowing that Sunshine's walking around trying to find Silver, he's going to try to keep kind of an eye on him, but he's going to attempt to figure out how he can place himself almost in between so he can keep an eye on both parties.
Yeah. Not a problem. You can do that. So as you're keeping an eye on that, Helena, Levesque takes you to like a little booth, a little corner, kind of around the corner, where the base is less right in your face. You sit down. You notice 2 other people sitting there already. There is a man, tall and lanky. He's got this kind of toque on. He's got tattoos over his hands. When you come in, he's kind of leaning back, flashes you the sign like this. And another man, a Hispanic man, he's got a baseball cap on with the lid sort of up. He's playing with a lighter. He's got a cigarette unlit in the corner of his mouth. Levesque says, Helena, this is Silver and Zane, 2 friends of mine.
I don't know. I don't know about Silver too. She's just gonna sort of like sit and like look at Levesque and look at these guys and look back at Levesque. Hi, I guess.
This is Helena, the person I was telling you about. And the one that named Silver leans forward and goes, "Yeah, I heard about you. You got that that store, right? You got that occult store where you sell all the, yaks, penises, and all that stuff that people take to make themselves grow hard or like try to get their hair back. That's your deal, right? That's what you do, right? I saw your store, man. Yeah, it's a cool store. I like it. I like your store. It's cool. It's got lots of stuff in it, and I like how much of that is.
Do you ever shut the fuck up?
The guy that's sitting next to him goes, she's been here 30 seconds, bro. She's already got your fucking number. Shut the fuck up, all right? You don't want me to make your fucking mouth disappear again like last time? Oh yeah, fucking do it, and maybe I'll just fucking make your teeth disappear like last time. How about that?
Okay, yeah. Sorry.
And Levesque's like, ignore them. Ignore me. They're both ignorami. How would you say that? Many ignoramus. Ignorami? Would that
You can
be
just call them dickwads. That would be the usage, the verbiage I would probably use the most. Anyway, yeah, I own the shop.
Yes. Well, we're waiting for one more person. Shouldn't be very long. Oh, in fact, here she comes. And you look up in time to see this woman approaching where you are. She is very tall, very slim. She has a shaved head. She's wearing a bunch of silver and gold jewelry that's all like kind of like curves and whatnot. There are some kindred that have a power that when they approach you and you're in their presence, you feel overwhelmed by their majestic presence. Like you see them and not that you fear them, but it's kind of like, imagine meeting, your starstruck favorite musician in the world and coming across them like somewhere, like you're like, holy fucking, and this woman has this as she approaches. Lex says, Helena, may I introduce you to Bahari? Bahari, this is Helena, your child.
I think Helena would sort of rear back a little bit.
Hello, darling. It's nice to see you again. May I sit next to you?
Do I remember her at all?
As you see her now, you do get flashes in a bar similar to this one. Was it even this one, maybe?
I think it might have been.
And in your club, place you'd been meaning to try. The woman came up to you. Do you remember that? Asked you for a light. It's coming back to you now. Bahari, this was her. This was her name. Do you remember that? Smiling, being nice, you liked her. You found you wanted to be friends with her. She said she wanted to show you something special. You were entranced. Maybe against your will, you decided to follow her into the restaurant. Do you remember what happened after? Next thing you remember, you were on the floor, the bathroom. She was on top of you, her mouth on your neck. It felt so good. That neon light was flickering. There was blood dripping in your mouth. A little later, you were in the back of a truck. You were being jostled, pushed back and forth. You were bound. You found yourself in a cemetery. There were people around you digging graves. Other people came. There was this big fight. There was this giant, hulking, shadowy brute that had this railroad sledgehammer. And he was just smashing heads. And you saw him at some point grab someone, and his mouth distended, and he wrapped it around the thing's face, and he just ripped all of it. Then you remember waking up to Hayden with that woman who led you to the bathroom, who bit you. It was this woman. You remember now?
I think Helena will scoot over and give her room and sort of look at her with these like knitted brow look. it was you.
Yes, it took me a while to find you. I'm glad I did. How are you doing, my child?
Like days away from figuring out if I die or not.
Oh, no. Get that out of your mind. That's not gonna happen to you, my sweet. And she runs a finger under your chin. Much too precious. I'm certain you have many questions.
Yeah. Why? That's the thing I keep asking everybody. Fucking why?
Why did I choose you, or why did it happen at all?
Why did you choose me?
I don't know. I saw you. What is it they say these days? I saw you from across the bar and I liked your vibe. No, you just... I like the way people looked at you with respect. I like the way people looked at you like they expected you to deliver them from their rotten existence or show them some sort of truth or care for them. You're like a mother.
Yeah. Something like that.
Well, it's a good thing to be a mother. And you have a lot of people who depend on you and who will do exactly whatever you tell them. Tell me, do you like your snake?
He's pretty cool, I'm gonna be honest with you. I like him a lot.
He's very, very old. You have to be very, very tender with him.
Yeah, I think that I just might want to keep him forever. I don't know. He's pretty all right. He's pretty much my best friend now.
Helena, I'd like to be your best friend. Wouldn't you like to be friends with me?
Yeah, that's what I wanted last year, but then where'd you go?
Well, I had to see if you could fend for yourself first.
Well, I can.
Apparently so, which is why I had our mutual friend here collect you tonight.
Yeah, about that. Hayden's gonna be really pissed, I think. He was supposed to pick me up where I got picked up, and now I'm not there. And she's gonna sort of glance at Levesque like, I don't know if we're friends.
As you say that and look over to Levesque, he goes to open his mouth, and you hear someone else say, Aiden is going to be the least of your problem, child. And you look over and you see this other woman standing there. She's very small, very petite, long red hair, dressed in this almost kind of like ancient school teacher-y black dress with a cape over it. Mornian, you see the same thing. You see this woman approach, and both of you know by reputation Charlotte Rojas, the Tremere Regent of Chicago. Meanwhile, across town, at the Aegis building, Cassie, the elevator doors open. You are in this long corridor with plush red carpet. There are unmarked doors along the way, 5 of them. Very discreet recessed lighting. You're not sure, but there seems to be a very pleasant odor floating around. As you step out of the elevator, you see one of the little light sconces above one of the doors light up amber. Inside the apartment, Teddy, You hear Oracle's voice say, "Your friend is in the corridor."
Yeah, I think at this point, Teddy's already packed away the blow dryer. She's already picked up all the towels and kind of put them in the hamper and tidied up a little bit. And she's just dropping a fresh scoop of food down for Prince as Oracle says this. And she doesn't respond to Oracle. She goes straight to the door and opens it to look out for her.
You'll find Cassie. She's sort of stepping on the carpet. It's like she doesn't want to be standing on the carpet. Something about it is just troubling her. And she looks up. Oh, hey, Teddy.
Is everything okay, Cassie?
I don't like carpet.
Teddy's gonna kind of rush over to her and pull her close and wrap her arms around her and give her a hug.
Hi.
Sorry about the carpet.
Oh, no, it's fine. It's not your fault. This is a really weird building. Did you know it's a really weird building? Elevator talked to me.
It's a bit strange. Yeah. Do you want to come inside? Relax.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry I didn't call beforehand. My phone died. I was waiting for Helena to call me. She hasn't yet. She might have. My phone's dead though, so
we can charge it for you. Come inside.
Okay. Cassie's gonna kind of trail behind Teddy, just sort of keeping just like the edge of her shirt in Cassie's grasp as she follows behind.
She's gonna lead her in and probably to the sofa.
Wow, this is really nice. You've got a nice place here.
Yeah, I guess you've never been here, huh?
No, I mean, not like we wouldn't have really had a reason to come to each other's places. So, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have come here without calling.
No, don't say that. It's fine. It's just me and Prince, and she points to the dog.
Cassie, if Prince is behind her, Cassie is lurching to look over at the dog.
He's on his back, all fours up in the air, tongue lolling on the side, just luxuriating in this dog bed that he got. That's like supremo fucking feathery, springy action.
Have you haven't always had a dog, have you? I'm pretty sure you've never mentioned him before.
I just got him. You can say hi if you want. He's very friendly.
Cassie's gonna just hold her hand out towards the dog, not even getting up, just to see if the dog notices her holding her hand out.
Prince immediately rolls over, comes over, stiffs your hand, starts to lick the tip of your fingers.
She'll give him a very awkward pat. Cassie has never had a dog before and rarely has interacted with animals.
That's the dog's face. He kind of rubs himself against your legs.
No, I'm okay. I can only really have certain kinds of
Yeah, it's okay. You want to stay?
Sure. If it's not too much trouble.
No, I don't get company very often, so it's nice. It's nice to have you here.
I saw Cora again. I don't think she was actually there though.
Teddy's gonna sit next to Cassie. And what are you doing with your hands right now? What is Cassie doing?
she's got probably a piece of string from the edge of her sleeve that she's sort of just pulling at.
She's gonna put one of her hands over top of your hands and almost kind of still you a little bit. It's okay, Cassie. Are you okay?
Drex left me. We went to go see Nicola, and I went to go ask him a question, and he had gone. Then Helena said that she would call me. She hasn't. And I don't... It's not really anyone else besides you guys. So...
It's okay. They probably didn't mean anything by it. I'm here now. I can see you.
Cassie, there's the tension that she was holding in her shoulders sort of melts a little bit, and she smiles to herself mostly. Thank you, Teddy.
I'm always here for you, Cassie. Whenever you need me, just call.
Well, I should probably charge my phone then if that's the case.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you knew where I was.
The building, it's really distinctive. It kind of looks like a prison.
Never thought of that. It's strange, though.
I thought the guards were going to shoot me or something. I mean, I do look this way walking up to the building.
I'm sure they weren't expecting you tonight.
I think I scared one. He jumped 10 feet in the air.
I would have loved to see that.
I'm sure there's video camera footage somewhere.
They're always so uptight.
I think as Teddy is holding Cassie's hands, Cassie will sort of sink into the couch a little bit, her shoulder pressed up against Teddy's. And I think even though Cassie is taller than Teddy, she's just gonna sort of lay her head sort of awkwardly on Teddy's shoulder.
Teddy is gonna take her free hand and kind of put it up and stroke your hair, comfort you.
The voice of Oracle is going to sound. Miss Theodora, will Miss Cassie be requiring any particular vintage for drinks?
Do you need anything, Cassie? Just tell her.
I need blood from someone who's had indulged themselves in their alcohol or cocaine. Sounds kind of good, actually.
Very well.
Something else.
Eventually, there'll be a slight knock at the door. A very efficient-looking young man with a little fridge box will come in without looking at you. We'll go to Teddy's little mini bar, open it up, pull out a few blood packs, clearly mark Cassie on them, slide them in the refrigerator, close the refrigerator without looking at any of you. Walk out.
Wow. That's pretty handy. I usually have to get the druggies in the 7-Eleven.
Oh, the 7-Eleven around here is not a good place to go hang out.
Yeah, I think Teddy would get up and she would grab one of those bags and
kind of more so than anything to amuse herself, she would open it and pour it into an exceptionally nice crystal goblet and bring it over to Cassie. Cassie like grabs it by like the stem, pinky up, and sips it like.
There'll be more in there for when you wake tomorrow. Really appreciate this. Don't mention it.
And before we move over to the club once more, I would say thank you to Raven Serenade for gifting each of you also another advantage. I was sitting on 2 of them, plus a bonus one from Kurt, who is at the 7-Eleven getting a bite right now. Thank you very much, Raven Tara. Across town, up in the catwalk, Drex, you start to notice a few things. You notice Helena sitting in the booth with the 3 men and then the woman who came and sat down next to her. Then this other woman appeared almost out of nowhere. What you're noticing from your vantage point now is that the area around that booth has kind of started clearing up. And you can kind of see bouncers and people who work for the club slowly kind of herding people away from that area. And you can also see other people moving kind of along the edges of the bar, moving along the booth and kind of taking positions near where that booth is. What would you like to do?
Seeing that this is happening, I guess the first thing he would do is look to see if he can spot Sunshine.
Yeah, you see Sunshine, who's kind of retreated a little bit. He's like near the door to where the bathrooms are, kind of half hiding in shadows. A couple of people have gone by him and not noticed him. He's looking up at you like, and he points in the corner where that booth is. And when you kind of lean over and check, you can see Silver is in that booth with Helena and the others.
Upon seeing Silver, again, Drex is gonna kind of just reach and stroke the stake in his pocket. And then upon seeing Helena there with him, he is going to be filled with rage. And kind of look to Sunshine and shake his head yes very angrily.
Sunshine looks at him, he's like, he's thinking, this is gold information, like, we don't want to fucking ruin this before we find out what's going on.
Drex will somewhat frustratedly try to pay as much attention as possible, trying to essentially see if he can read anyone's lips or gather anything from body language.
And as you're doing that and paying attention, trying to figure out what's going on, and you kind of get the feeling that the new arrival, the Tremere Regent, and the woman who was sitting next to Helena, Bahari, immediately what you notice is, and Bones, you will have noticed the same thing, as soon as Shad Rojas appeared, Bahari really kind of recoiled and kind of sat back and then regained her composure. But for a moment, she was really kind of taken aback. And as you're checking that out, Drex, you suddenly feel the catwalk shake, like a dum, 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 and the catwalk shaking, and it feels like the vibrations coming nearer you.
I'm gonna immediately check my surroundings.
You turn around and you see, standing literally a foot away from you, this ginormous, nearly 8 foot tall mass of darkness. Just this giant beast of a human, perhaps, being in this red winter ski coat and with his face wrapped in this yellow mask and with sunglasses on. And this thing is towering above you. And you know you're looking at Baptiste, the Nosferatu Scourge. Meanwhile, on the floor. Okay. Yeah, hold on to your thought. Meanwhile, on the floor, as the Tremere Regent has approached, Bahari, you saw Bones, has kind of recoiled a little bit, kind of like a snake, but then kind of smoothed right back in, and has given the Tremere Regent this smile and said, "Well, Reyna, it's been quite a long time." And the Tremere Regent looks at her and goes, "The name is Charlotte now. I told you, if I saw you again, I would burn the blood inside your body." Bahari leans over to you, Bones, and says, "There comes a moment in almost everyone's lives where you reach a crossroads of sorts, where your bonds of blood and family are tested, and you must decide where you stand. I did not intend for this to happen tonight, but it seems you've come up to that crossroad." And as she says that, you see her eyes go wide. You see blood start boiling out of her mouth, out of her eyes, out of her ears, right out of her pores. Blood is just boiling right out of her body, and she screams this unearthly scream of pain. And you see just behind her Hayden, who's got his hand on the back of her neck, and all this blood is just boiling and pouring out of her as she screams, and then fucking everything happens all at once. Roll initiatives.
Oh, okay.
Thank you very much, Patrick. Any ancient gamers? Any ancient gamer, because there's just one Patrick. There could be no more. There's just one. Advantages, everybody. And since there was an extra advantage earlier, it means everyone gets an extra advantage. So you now have 3 advantages each.
Nice.
Just on time. Thank you, Patrick. Thank you very much.
Remind me, Blake, what I need to do to roll for initiative. I'm sorry.
You need to roll your dexterity. You add your dexterity and your wits together, and you roll a d10 and add to that.
My wits. It's fine. I just couldn't speak real good, like. And then another d10.
You too, Morniana.
Oh, okay. Dexterity, wits, and
A d10.
And what am I trying to hit?
You're just add all that together and tell me what.
Oh, okay. It's big numbers. 9.
No. Yeah, roll 1d10 and then
Oh, I'm sorry.
it's okay.
I'm sorry.
Everyone does that the first time. It's okay.
That's 5. 7.
7.
Yes.
Mornian.
I got a 9 on the die, and then 2, and then add 3, so 12.
Okay. So, Mornian, you look over, you see Baptiste just leaning over you, this giant shaman, and he just goes, "What are you doing here, guys?" And you hear screaming, and you turn over, and you look, and you see the woman standing next to, sitting next to Bones. Elena's mentor, Hayden, is standing behind her. He's got his hand on her, and blood is just boiling out of her body as she's screaming, and like everyone's starting to react. The Silver is reacting, Zane, everyone's kind of starting to react, and people are sort of kind of getting into a melee, and you can see that Helena's kind of caught in the middle of all that. So what would you like to do, Mornian?
I don't think attacking this large individual is a right idea.
Well, you know that he's like the elder Nosferatu in town, so he's he's an ally basically.
He's gonna kind of do that backward shuffle you do when you're caught on your ass, to kind of just make a little bit of room, and then kind of just look up, just following clues.
He just points down. Do your duty to the Camarilla.
Yes, and he will try to find the best way to get off of this scaffolding and get down to the ground.
Well, I mean, you could run down. You could also vampire throw yourself over the railing and fall down. And
He's pretty scared right now, so yeah, I think the second part's, I think the throwing himself over the railing is what he'd do.
all right, you immediately roll over the railing and fall a few floors down. Go ahead and give me a soak roll. So give me a stamina plus fortitude. Roll number of dice equal to your stamina plus your fortitude. You're going to be looking for 6s.
I may be dumb, but I'm not seeing fortitude anywhere.
Stamina and you're totally right. Why do I have fortitude written there? Probably because I'm very, very dumb. No, so give me your dodge.
Okay. Oh, this is not going to go well.
It's fine, don't worry about it, buddy.
I had 1 dice to roll, and it was a critical success. The 10.
Nice, all right. So I'll say you take 1 damage. So see in your health box, you have N and A. So N is normal, and A is aggravated. So if it's fire or sunlight, stuff like that would be aggravated. Now it's just normal damage. So you're bruised. Right? Normal damage you can heal by spending a blood point. So if you ever want to heal normal damage, you just spend a blood point and you heal it. But right now you're at bruised. As your ankles kind of take a bit of a beating and you kind of fall on your knees, and then you stand up and you see a bunch of things sort of happening on the other side. Helena, from where you are standing, both Zane has kind of lurched and thrown himself forward right at Hayden, and he's like reaching out and grabbing him, and Hayden is like trying to keep his hand on Bahari. Zane is grabbing him, and he's extremely strong. You don't know this, but he's a brewer. He's got potency. He just lifts up Hayden like Hayden is nothing. He lifts him up in the air, and he just slams him down on the ground and then stomps on him. Hayden's grabbing his leg and kind of trying to fight off. Silver next to you, you see the world around him kind of starts to shiver and shimmer, and you see 2 of them appear. There's like another copy of Silver that kind of appears, and the 2 of them start to move out through this kind of melee that's erupted. You see more ghouls and more vampires now that are coming in and getting involved in this fight. What would you like to do?
I don't think that it would be very smart for Helena to jump in on this. These are obviously individuals who are much, much stronger than her. However,
you do see Hayden's on the ground, and he's just got curb stomped by this guy, and he's like, seems where he's kind of trying to fight him off, but he seems to like, I've gotten hit pretty solid.
can I try and like body check Zane? Not like necessarily fight him, but just body check.
Can't try to move him off and
Yeah, and like she wants to like grab at Hayden and
you can
pull him out.
totally try to do that. Just also looking at your card sheet, you do have your tongue that you can use also, if you felt like it.
Yeah, that was my other question too. Can I do that?
You can. You can strike at him. Now you're not going to move him, you're just going to do damage to him. So maybe if you want to try to move him, you might want to try to do what you were
Just body check him. Yeah, let me just do that then.
Okay, so roll your strength plus your brawl.
Okay. It's fuller.
You can, if you want, spend a blood point to gain a point of strength.
Yeah. What am I looking for?
You're going to be looking for 7s.
I have 1 success.
Okay. So you kind of bump into him and you feel him kind of go a little bit, but it was not enough to really kind of get him going. But you can see that his foot has come up just enough and Hayden's underneath it. And you see him kind of with the foot now being off of him and kind of having a little bit more wiggle room. You see him do movements with his hands, and you see Zane's head just kind of rocket back as if it got like grabbed by an invisible hand. And with him helping and with you kind of pushing him, you manage to sort of bowl him over just enough, and Aiden starts getting up. As you go to pick him up and try to move, you feel a hand on your shoulder. When you turn to look, you see Bahari there. She's got boiling blood coming down her face from her eyes and out of her mouth. And she's grabbing onto your shoulder. And she just says at you, "Choose wisely." And as she does that, you see, to your horror, a gout of flame that passes right by your face and hits her right in the side of the head. I'm going to need you to make a Ross check roll. So you're going to need to roll your courage plus self-control.
Okay, 2 and then 4.
Yeah. So your courage is 4, your self-control is 2, so you're going to need 6 dice.
Okay. All right, what am I looking for?
For this particular Ross trek, you are going to be looking for... this would be about the equivalent of an electrical firewall. So you're looking for 8s.
I got 2 successes.
All right, so that's pretty good. So you managed to this. I don't know, Bones, if you have a phobia, but if you do, this is what this fire is like for a vampire. Like seeing fire, sunlight is like this deep-seated phobia, because you know that's the only thing that can really destroy you. And you feel your beast inside of you just like kind of rearing out, clawing to get out, just wanting to scream and run away from this thing. And you manage to just clamp down on it with your self-control. You manage to just clamp down on it as you see this gout of flame that has gone from the Tremere Regent and hit Bahari right in the face, and she falls back on the ground. You just see a little bit of smoke sort of up in the air. And the Regent sort of steps up around you, and she says, "Good choice, child." And she pushes you out of the way, and you kind of start helping Aiden get up. Morgan, you hit the ground. Your legs are bruised. You can see people fighting. You saw fire go off. You're far enough away that it didn't impact you too much. But you're now seeing Helena is trying to help Aiden up and trying to kind of get him out of there. What would you like to do?
What is the position of Silver at this point?
You see 2 of them. There's 2 Silvers, and they're kind of like they've separated, and they're moving around, and they're kind of. He looks like he's trying to get out of there, but there's 2 of them.
All right. Drex is gonna run over. He hasn't made his presence known to Helena at this point, so he's gonna kind of run over and see if he can help get Hayden up.
All right, Helena, you see Drex coming out of nowhere, just arrives sort of next to you. You can see that a good chunk of Hayden's chest has been caved in and like squished down by the foot of Zane. And as he's getting up, you can hear bones popping as he's starting to try to heal himself. You can hear the bones and everything just as his chest is kind of trying to grow again, but it's obviously taking a lot of his power. Drex is right next to you, and he grabs and Drex you. Do you have potence?
I do.
All right, so it's pretty easy for you to grab him and kind of lift him up. Do you want to say anything?
What the hell's going on?
Are you saying that to Helena?
He's just kind of saying it to whoever will answer him at this point. He's a little confused as to the situation.
I think Helena will sort of look at you, but like sort of like through you. And I think she's gonna look over to Hayden and just very quietly say, I think I'm fucked.
That's not good. What do you mean?
I don't know yet.
I don't know what I mean. It just, I have a sneaking suspicion I'm fucked.
What would you like to do, Helena? The crowd is moving in around you. There's like 7 or 8 ghouls and vampires kind of fighting and sort of trying to get to you. Some people are trying to get to Bahari. Some people are trying to get to Tremere Regent.
I want to get out of
this
there.
huge mess of people like around you, just kind of fighting and pulling and joshing. And
I want to get out of there as quickly as I possibly can because this can turn very deadly, I think, very quickly. I want to get Hayden out of there.
so you're gonna try to use your obfuscate.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, roll your styles.
A stand.
Roll your manipulation and stealth.
Okay. 5. Okay, so 7. What do you want? I got 1, 2.
Give me 6s.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 success. Yeah, 4 successes.
Drex, you see Helena start to fade from view a little bit in the middle of this melee. You grab Hayden and start pulling him out of there. You see the Tremere Regent sort of go around the side of the couch where Bahari had fallen and just curse in a language you're not sure exactly what it is. But you can clearly see that Bahari's body is not there anymore as she turns around and goes there. You can see suddenly most of the people in this bar just suddenly turn around and start encircling the lot of you. There's 30, 40 people. They all look kind of like almost zombified, like their eyes are all kind of really wide, and they're all moving and kind of crowding around you. And as they do, you realize that they're human, they're breathing and whatnot, so they're not vampires, but they're sort of crawling around you and sort of encircling you and kind of approaching, and Hayden's like trying to get up. And the Tremere Regent's like, you can see that she looks like she could just kill all of these people, but knows that you can't just start killing people in a bar like this, right? And as the two of you are picking up Hayden and kind of trying to get around, and you can see that there's you're near the exit that leads to where the bathrooms are, and then Drex, you know that that's where you can go down to the stairs and go out the tunnels that you came in. These people are just kind of crowding in. There's a few people in front of you. You'd have to like either fight your way through or kind of find a way through them. But then just as they're kind of starting to gather around you, you hear this fucking inhuman cry. And suddenly Baptiste is in there among them. And he's just grabbing these humans or whatever ghouls that they are. He's just grabbing them and snapping them. Snapping necks and snapping backs as he's just going right through them and just ripping them apart. He grabs Silver, and as he does, his hand goes through it and the illusion disappears. And you know Silver has gone out. Zane tries to get up, but he smacks him in the back of the head, and his head cracks and he falls to the ground. And there's just this carnage, but suddenly you see space. You grab Hayden, and a lot of you head down into the door, into the stair, or do you do something else? Now's your chance to tell me if you want to stick around and do something.
No, I want to go. This is bad. This is bad juju. I think
like
Helena is like grabbing Drex, who's grabbing Hayden, and she's just like dragging them along as hard as she can.
Sunshine comes along and he helps you also, grabbing you and pulling you.
In the dragging. I just imagine a train and
It's on the
dragging.
chain, exactly. And the Tremere Regent runs up kind of ahead of you and goes, "We're going to hear about this one for a while yet." And she sort of leads you along and she's like, "Where are we going? Does anyone know the way?"
I can get us out.
Well, don't just stand there, do it.
And Drex will take the lead.
Get me back to the shop, Drex.
He'll be there.
And as you run out, Hayden is with you and you can still feel his ribs and his bones kind of popping back into place. And he leans on you and is like, "I knew you'd make the right choice."
Yeah. Me too.
And you head off into the tunnels below the bar. What was that? Yeah, I thought you weren't going to kiss anyone in the game, Bones.
You can't. Like, never do that. Ugh. He's high. He's got tattoos. What do you want from me? He's tall.
The next morning, Cassie, you hear a voice that says, 7 p.m., time to wake up. And you see this weird light that just sort of starts to glow from somewhere in this apartment, very gentle, very kind, almost like being awoken by early morning sunlight in the room. You are in Teddy's living room on the couch. The windows are covered by these thick plastic dividers that come down and completely block out the sun, but there's just this nice warm glow inside the room now that suffuses. Teddy, where are you? What are you doing?
I believe that Teddy's already up and not wanting to disturb Cassie. She's in her little lounge chair in her room, quietly reading. And per usual, she's using her obfuscate powers. It's just kind of a habit for her.
Cassie, you're alone in the living room.
No.
You see Prince sleeping away, snoring on his bed.
Cassie is sort of standing there, kind of not really knowing what to do. And she looks towards Teddy's room, and she'll sort of quietly make her way there, trying to like peek in to see maybe if the door is open. I think she would have slept with the door open just in case you woke up at any point in time and needed anything from her. She wouldn't have wanted you to have to knock. She knows that maybe that would have made you feel uncomfortable. She kind of looks in, and I'm trying to find where Teddy is, and then she doesn't see her in the room. She'll start to wander about the apartment, checking like the bathroom and the kitchen. And when she still doesn't see Teddy, the pacing gets louder, and as she starts to be a little bit more frantic, and she starts to like freak out a little bit. You probably will start to hear her muttering to herself. Teddy, I think Teddy would hear this. Teddy would certainly hear this. And when you initially looked in, she probably wouldn't have looked up. I think it's pretty customary for her to just always expect some assistant coming into her room and dropping something off or tidying something or doing something or other. And she's used to just being invisible and not really interacting with the humans around her. And when she starts to hear you, it snaps her out of this, and she steps out of the shadows and into the living room, and very quickly will rush over to you and place her hands on you and kind of steady you and try to calm you. I'm so sorry, Cassie. You have to forgive me. It's just a habit, being quiet. You've been here the entire time? Yeah, you see a lot of people come in and out of my room, assistants and such, and well, I don't really like to be bothered by them mostly, so I like to stay in the shadows and read, usually. I'm so sorry. I didn't want you to feel like that. No, it's okay. You I thought that you had maybe stepped out or something. No, you were here the entire time. The entire time though, so it's fine. It's okay. I wouldn't do that to you, Cassie. Not without telling you. I know. Maybe I should have looked for like a note or something first.
It's okay. Are you thirsty?
The scheduler is on his way.
Do you have plans tonight, Cassie?
No, I've been off of work the last 2 days, so.
Have you heard anything from the others?
No, Helena still hasn't called me. Drex hasn't messaged me either.
My scheduler should be here any minute. They're going to walk through that door.
Do you need me to leave?
No, stay. No, of course not. You're my friend. Maybe you want to come out with me tonight so you're not alone?
Are you sure?
Of course. I mean, I'll have to ask to double check because it is work, but Takimura is a very kind man and he cares for me very deeply. So I think maybe if I ask, we can figure something out.
If it's if it's not a problem, I wouldn't mind coming out with you. And then when you're doing your work stuff, I'll be fine.
As you say that, the doors open after a light knock. A group of people come in. Cassie, you've never seen anything like this. I mean, if Myriad, if you've ever seen like a pit stop change in a Formula One race, this is basically what it looks like. A bunch of people sweep into the room. You see Teddy move into the center of the room, this space that's been cleared out, and just sort of lift her arms up. These people come in. Someone's doing her hair. Someone's like fitting her with this very expensive looking kimono. Someone's doing her makeup. Like there's the whole thing. There's someone there with a data pad that's going over a schedule, right? The limo's going to be downstairs in about 15 minutes. And then they're going to take you in like going through this whole thing. It's like all of us are like, like Snow White with all the birds and sort of everyone kind of coming in and like flitting around her. And Teddy just sort of stands there and sort of lets this happen. And literally in moments, Teddy has been completely transformed from just this cute little bookish woman into this ravishing woman dressed in this beautiful kimono, her hair done in a traditional Japanese style, a beautiful makeup, like the whole 9 yards, as people are just kind of flitting in and out, bringing stuff in and all that. And the scheduler's like, and if you want to sign here, Teddy, to accept the contract.
Yes, of course. Can you call Mr. Takimura and ask him if I may bring a +1 this evening?
Yes.
And they'll see her eyes kind of move to Cassie. Of course, we'll have to clean her up a bit, but...
Well, that's entirely against protocol, Miss Theodora.
I don't believe I asked anything about that, did I?
You know the district manager won't like this.
And I'm sure we'll have a nice little chat. But in the meantime, if you could please call Mr. Takimura. I could do it myself, if you'd like.
No, it's okay. I'll handle it. Give me a moment, and scheduler goes off somewhere and talks to themselves for a bit, and comes back after a moment. Well, the client has accepted your request. Still think the district manager won't like it, but Mr. Takimura is agreeable. And the scheduler looks over and claps their hand once, and you'll just turn around and they come at you, Cassie. Like, these people are on you. They're fixing your hair. They're taking clothes off. They're trying things on. Like, you literally have like nothing to say. Like, they're professionals. If you like kind of try to move a certain way, they come in right just at the right angle and kind of fit you in. These people are supernatural in what they're doing. It doesn't take very, very long. you are yourself not dressed the way Teddy is, but at least kind of cleaned up, fresh makeup on, hair done, and dressed in something kind of acceptable to go to, a higher society function. How do you feel?
Uncomfortable. I feel like Teddy probably saw parts of me that I didn't want anyone else seeing. So, also weirdly,
they were very good. Like they always hid the parts, like as they were moving stuff. There was always someone coming in with the towel just in time,
You look really pretty, Teddy.
So do you, Cassie.
You do this like every time?
Sometimes.
Oh. It's kind of cool to watch. Little uncomfortable for it to happen to you though. Not gonna lie. I think that one of them felt me up.
I don't think it was intentional. The first time's always a little upsetting.
My hair. Do you smell my hair? It smells weird. What did they put in it?
Products. Lots and lots of products.
Theodora, the scheduler things were, Mr. S. Oliver, district manager, on the phone for you.
Of course. Will you excuse me for a minute, Cassie?
Mm-hmm.
She's going to take the phone and go into her room, close the door behind her. Theodora speaking.
It's pleasure to speak with you again. I'm being told you made a special request of the client, Mr. Takamura.
I did.
May I ask what prompted this unusual state of affairs? You are not one to usually bend the rules.
This is a special circumstance. I didn't want my friend to be alone tonight.
That is very noble of you. I assume you're willing to accept responsibility for any faux pas your friend might commit. Mr. Takamura is a very valued client.
Of course. Anything that happens is on my head. I realize this.
Much to your horror, you hear the rapper. As you can just picture it, is unwrapping a mint. Then there's a pause. Very well. And the line goes dead.
She returns to the main room and hands the phone over to her scheduler.
Everything all right?
Just fine. Were you expecting it to go otherwise?
It's not for me to think. Very well. The limousine's awaiting, ladies. And with that, the two of you will be swept out to a private elevator, taken downstairs to Pride Garage, where Owen waits with a limousine to take you to the party. As you approach the place, as you approach the theater, you can see a huge lineup of people in front, people sort of gathering around. There is on the marquee an image, a poster. You're going to see a show called The Dim Lands by a renowned performance artist named Yurei. Teddy would be able to tell you that Yurei means ghost in
I
Japanese.
probably wouldn't tell her that.
Okay. You don't tell her that. Just
Yeah, I
make
wouldn't
sure.
tell. I wouldn't save her from that.
Save her from that. Save her from herself.
I love her too much.
You pull up in the limousine. You see quite a number of people, as I said, lined up for this show. And Cassie, you've never heard of Yurei before. Teddy, you are quite familiar with their work. They are a Japanese performance artist. The limo pulls up into an underground parking garage. And as you pull up to the door, there's like a whole different, inside the garage at the bottom, in the garage, there's this kind of, it looks like a theater entrance that's built underground with a marquee over it and everything else. And there are doormen, and this is where all the limousines and all the cars of the important people sort of go through. Cassie, you've never experienced this, I would assume, being in the back of a limousine like this, rolling up to a red carpet. Yes, more carpet, Cassie, I'm sorry. But eventually your car pulls up to the door, and doorman opens the door, says, "Ladies, welcome to the theater." You step out, much to your chagrin, on thick plush red carpet, and with a host of other well-dressed people, you move through and into the lobby of the theater. You are surrounded by the well-to-do, the art critics, the hobnobbers of Chicago. Kind of a different experience from what you've had before, both Teddy, I'm sure you've been to a place like this before, but you're used to encountering Takemura in a much more traditional settings and much more intimate settings. Also, this whole going out to a show, especially a show as, as popular as this one, is a little bit of a different situation also for you. But Cassie, this is also very strange for you to be in this area. So as you move in to this very plush lobby, this very plush entrance with all these well-dressed people in tuxedos and nice dresses and beautiful suits, what is it that you're feeling? What are you thinking? Let's start with Cassie. What's going through your mind as you're stepping through these doors into this kind of hollowed halls of the high society of Chicago?
I think Cassie, for the most part, is trying to minimalize herself next to Teddy, trying to do as Teddy's doing. Because from what conversation she heard between the assistant and Teddy, this is very unusual, especially because this is Teddy's work. And she doesn't want to create a problem for Teddy because Teddy has been so nice to her. So she's trying to just be on her absolute best behavior. And she is very visibly uncomfortable with the people around her, and being around people of high society. But she's very much trying to just blend in and make herself sort of unnoticeable, or not really stand out in any way.
Teddy, as you look at Cassie, you see her once in a while kind of flicker, almost as if she's about to fade from view. You realize it's similar to what you can do, but she doesn't seem to be able to control it.
I think Teddy has hooked an arm into Cassie's. It's okay. Don't worry. They're all very boring.
They look really boring. They look like they talk about, like, wine all the time.
I think you're right. Just breathe.
Okay. I'm fine.
Yeah, you're fine. Trust me. No one's even paying attention to you. They're too worried about themselves.
Look at that guy's hair.
has to do that. Maybe he has a team like me, just probably not a very good one.
He's like the poor version of you.
Miss Theodora?
Yes.
You see a slim Japanese man, nice suit. Mr. Takamura would request your presence for a few moments. He understands that you are with a friend, but he would like to give you something, and then the two of you can join him in the balcony suite to watch the representation, but he's wondering if you could have a moment of your time first.
Of course. Give me just a moment. And she looks to Cassie. I will be right back. I promise.
Okay. I'll wait right here.
Yeah. Just hang out. It'll be fine. Like I said.
Okay.
No one's even going to bother you. They're too worried about themselves.
I'll be right here.
And she's going to lean in and like give a kiss to Cassie's cheek. And then turn to the man.
Okay. Take me to him.
Please, come with me. And he'll lead you up to a private elevator, which will get in and go up. Cassie, as you stand there alone amidst the sea of people, you hear 3 loud knocks after a while. Dong, dong, dong. And you see the doors to the theater open and people start to move in. They're very quiet now, like in a reverential hush, moving into the theater. Very soon you are left alone in the lobby.
I'm going to see if there's like a clock anywhere to see how much time has passed by.
You look around, you see there are no clocks, and in fact, there's no one behind the bar, there are no doorman, there's nobody else around. Cassie. And poking her head out the door from inside the theater is Cora. Come on, you're gonna miss the show.
I told Teddy I would wait here.
It's okay. We'll save her a seat.
I'm going to look in the direction that Teddy had disappeared off into, and then I'm going to, kind of as I'm still looking over my shoulder, walk towards where Cora is.
Come on. She turns around and moves into the theater.
And it very, like, not pull the door open all the way, just enough where I can squeeze my body through.
You walk into this theater. It is empty. You're sure you were here to see something called the Dim Lands, but there are posters in these light boxes along the walls that claim that this is an opera about Dracula. You're also pretty sure that the theater you're in is more of a music kind of place, but this looks like a stately, grand old opera kind of place. The place is completely empty, very silent. There is on the stage this weird sort of lighted set decor of a castle that looks like a cage with golden bars.
Do I see Cora?
No, Cora's not there. You're completely alone in this place. Why are you alone, Cassie? Why is everyone gone?
Teddy said she would be right back.
Teddy's gone.
No, she said she would be right back. She promised.
Like Drex is gone. Like Helena's gone. Like
But he
April's
said they
gone.
didn't mean it. She's not
Yeah.
gone.
Teddy left also.
She's just going for a moment.
Why do you make everyone leave you, Cassie? What's wrong with you?
I don't know.
Why don't you have any friends?
Teddy's my friend.
Is she here? I don't see her.
She promised she called us friends. She said we were friends.
Others have told you that before, haven't they? Where are they now?
That was my fault. I pushed them away, and that was my fault.
That's right, you do. You see on stage someone standing there. It's hard to see who they are from here, but you see them waving at you. Come here, Cassie. Come here.
I'll pause for a second before starting to walk down the aisle towards them.
Good girl. Come here. Come closer.
Trying to make out who they are.
As you approach, you see an older gentleman, well-dressed in a beige suit. He's got a bow tie, little round glasses. Looks like maybe a university professor or something like that. It's nice to finally meet you, Cassie.
Do I know you?
Not quite. My name's Professor Halling.
Why are you here?
Because I need your help, Cassie. I have something that I need done, and you're the only one who can help me. Come close.
Why me?
Well, because you see things. You know things. There's something inside of you, Cassie. Something that is very important to me, and I need you to bring it to me.
Where are you?
You know where I am.
The hospital?
I'm at the heart of the labyrinth. Can I...
Said I shouldn't go there.
Of course, Nicola would say that. Nicola has ever been a betrayer. Did you know that it was Nicola who told Drex to leave you?
Why would she do that?
Nicola is not to be trusted. I want to show you something. Come up here on stage with me.
I'll climb up the stage.
Come here. Have you ever been on stage before?
Like drama in school.
Were you good? Were you an actor?
No, they just cast me as the background parts because they didn't have another one for me.
That's... Well, it's very sad, Cassie. I'm sorry that happened to you. I'm sure you have talent that, if given the opportunity, would have shone ever so brightly.
Cassie sort of just shakes her head as she's picking at her fingers.
The thing about being on stage, of course, is that everyone's looking at you. Everyone sees you when you're on stage. I'm surprised you haven't wanted to be on stage more. You should You should want to take center stage, Cassie. You should want to be up on the planks under the lights. Have everyone looking at you, seeing you, knowing who you are. Wouldn't that be marvelous?
I don't want to do that. I don't want to be center stage.
No, that's your choice, Cassie. You don't have to be. The people working behind the stage are as important as the people on the stage. I mean, an actor would never tell you that, of course, but actors are, well, fairly, I don't like to use the word conceited, but conceited people.
Why am I here?
Oh, I wanted to show you something. This, and you see yourself as if you're standing outside your body, and suddenly all this light starts to whirl around you and starts to emanate from you and starts to grow out of you, this blue-white light, and it's almost as if you are becoming evanescent smoke light, just sort of drifting out of you, as if your body is disintegrating, just floating away into smoke and light and electricity. You see yourself almost as a ghost. And in the last moment, you see brilliant in the middle of your forehead. An eye opens.
I think as I'm watching this happen, as I'm watching my body sort of fade into like smoke, there's like a scream building up in my throat as I go to reach out towards my own body.
You reach out, your hand goes through it momentarily, and then you see the professor there reaches out, takes your hand. You feel it very solid in yours, and he pulls you right back in, and you reintegrate your body.
What did you do? What did you do?
I can help you, Cassie, but you have to come and see me.
You can help me stop fading?
I can make you very, very real, realer than you've ever imagined possible.
Okay.
Good. I'll wait for you. You'll find the way has been cleared for you. You are in the lobby, Cassie. The lobby is empty. You can hear people talking in the theater, excitement. There are doormen there, people behind the bar. The lights flicker 3 times. The last few people go inside the theater. The doors close. You're left standing there alone in the lobby with the people who work at the place, all of whom pretend not to see you because they figure you've been stood up, maybe, and don't want to embarrass you further.
Cassie will wait there for a little while longer.
Eventually you realize Teddy's not coming back.
Cassie takes out her cell phone and she's scrolling through her contacts and she comes across Teddy's. and it's just all lowercase Teddy, and then there's like a little colon parentheses for a smiley face. And she's about to hit the call button. And there's that voice. Why do you always drive people away, Cassie? You don't have anyone. Teddy left. Helena left. Drex left. And she's going to close the phone. And she's going to walk out.
Across the city, and before we get to that, thank you, Insomnia Knight, for the advantage given to me to torture people with. I also want to apologize to all actors out there. That was the professor talking, and he's a very mad Malkavian, not me. So apologies to all working actors out there. Don't assassinate me in the night, because et tu, Brute. Bones. Morning. You got home last night from the adventure at the club. By the time you got home, it was almost sunup.
Yeah.
You didn't really have time to split up. You had to find shelter and go to sleep. You ended up all bunking up at the store that Helena keeps, the Snake Pit. The two of you were there. Hayden was there. The Tremere Regent at some point left. Apparently not as bothered by the coming sun as the rest of you. But now with the moon rising, you have begun to stir. Where would we find each of you?
Helena's in her apartment up above the shop, and she would have opened it up to everybody else if they wanted to like come crash on a couch. She's got like a spare room. Hayden can sleep in her bed.
Drex would be in the main living area, just on a couch, just kind of sitting there, mulling over everything.
Did you really invite Hayden to sleep in your bed?
No, maybe, I don't know. No, she would probably put him in the spare room.
Okay. And where would you be?
In her own bed. It's slowly rolling out of it.
What do you do?
I think she's gonna go out into the main common area of the living room, and she's gonna try and take stock of everybody, and she'll look over at Drex, and I think there's kind of a look in Helena's eye. I think for the most part you typically find Helena kind of aloof, very like not wishy-washy, but she doesn't take a lot of things very seriously, but now she has a very serious look in her eyes. And she's kind of looking for Hayden at this point because she's got the hard question. Is Hayden out in the living room with them?
Oh, sorry. I thought you were looking at Mornion's character. Oh. At some point, Hayden will definitely come out of the room. Now, the damage he took wasn't aggravated damage, so he's pretty much kind of healed up, although you can tell that he still has a little bit of damage left as he comes out and kind of favors his side. He'll kind of say, I don't suppose you have any blood here, do you?
I would imagine she's got at least some in her fridge. Something left over from like one of the goth parties, and she'll sort of nod towards the fridge, but
Oh, cold?
I think before he goes for her, I think she's gonna stand in front of the fridge.
Is there a toll?
Yeah. What the fuck?
to be less specific?
What the fuck, Hayden? That woman?
Which one? There were two very impressive women there last night. Use your big girl words.
You're the one who's an injured here, mind you, and in my apartment. So, anyway, just the woman who told me that she was my sire?
Yes, Bahari. She is your sire. Or at least, we're fairly sure she is. I don't know. She's a snake. Snakes have a tendency to slip away. Looks like she did last night, even though I boiled half of her blood and Charlotte roasted her.
So...
She's very old.
Yeah.
Are you sure you want to talk about this in front of, he looks over at Drex, the entire kindred community of Chicago?
Can we talk about this later?
Can I get some blood?
She'll kind of sigh and like sidestep away from the fridge.
He leans in, grabs a couple of packets. He looks at Drex. No offense.
Yeah, leave. Drex is going to kind of shake his head a little bit, and then he's going to look up at Helena. I do have a question for you.
I wish you didn't, but by all means, buddy.
What are you doing sitting at a table with the individual who staked and tortured me?
I would love to answer that. Let's start with the part where I was kidnapped and brought to the bar kind of unwillingly. See, Hayden here was supposed to pick me up. And then there's a car. Figured it was my old pal Hayden. He was here. He was ready to get me. Got in the car. Wasn't Hayden.
We were trying to get Bahari to step out.
So you set that up?
Well, we didn't set it up so much as we went along and improvised when opportunities arose.
So you set it up.
Well,
Can I like pinch the side of him that's like injured?
is that necessary?
Yeah, I think it's pretty necessary.
Okay.
Why did you want Bahari to step out?
Because she's Sabbat.
That, I guess, is a good answer. What am I supposed to do with this information, Hayden?
Here. I don't know. You asked me a while back to tell you what bloodline you were, and I told you. And it didn't mean much to you. And it's probably best if it stays that way. Let me put it this way. We want to kill Bahari. And, well, I want to kill Bahari because she's Sabbat, and that's what I do. The Regent has some sort of personal issue with her that she's not been very clear with me about, but there's something there. They go back a ways. If the Sabbat knew that Bahari was a follower of Set, they would kill her even faster than we would. No one likes the snakes. And I told you this when I told you what your blood was, and I told you that the best thing for you to do would be to hide that fact. Then they give you a snake, and you start playing with the snake, and you're using your Setite gifts. It makes people wonder whether or not you can truly resist the corrupting influence of your blood. And if you can't, People are not necessarily going to hunt you, but they will shun you because no one likes a snake.
Are you gonna hunt me, Hayden?
Not unless you're Sabbat. It's my job. It's what I do. That's why I was brought here. As far as we can tell, you and your friends did not undergo the ritual. And so it's looking like until last night, you had a pretty good chance of being accepted into the Camarilla. Now, I don't know.
Am I gonna die, Hayden?
Well, it depends on you. Are you willing to do what it takes to resist your blood?
It's kind of like asking a dog not to bark.
He looks over at Drex again. And then back to you. You trust him?
I think she'll kind of slide her eyes over to Drex without quite leaving her head. And she'll sort of watch him for a moment. Yeah, I trust him.
I can help you. I can help you discover what you want to discover about your blood. I can help you harness its power. I can help protect you from the rest of our little community, as long as you are somewhat circumspect. I can do that for you.
Good, I can trust you.
Well, you're the one with the forked tongue.
I didn't ask for this.
Then show me that you can be something else.
All right.
Okay. He points at Drex. You have to make sure you can trust him. So, I must suggest you two work that out. Then he comes over and he leans real close to you, and his cheek just brushes yours. And he says right in your ear, and if you think you can't trust him, you let me know right away. And then gives you a peck on the cheek. Then he stands up. Then head back to the chantry, see if the Regent survived the little soiree. And check in on you later.
Yeah.
He looks at Drex. And then he leaves.
I think Helena will sort of... Is Drex sitting down on the couch?
Mhm.
I think she'll come sit next to him and sort of like lean over. Her hands are sort of like placed together and she's sort of bumping them on her knee.
That was a lot.
Enlightening, I'm sure. It wasn't my choice to be thus, Drex.
I've
That.
come to learn that it's not always what we are that matters. It's what we do with what we are.
Yeah, I guess so. You're not going to tell the others, are you?
How secret's safe with me? If something bad happens to you, something bad happens to all of us.
That's true. I don't want Teddy and Cassie thinking that I'm sort of whatever I am. They can continue believing I'm a Kata, then probably for the best.
Yeah. Your secret's safe with me. I have no need to make things difficult for you.
Yeah. Shit, I
Right.
need to text Cassie. Fuck.
When you say the name Cassie, you'll kind of watch as Drex. His face turned from somewhat stoic to almost ashamed.
You didn't leave her, did you?
I didn't have a choice.
Me either. I think she'll pull her phone out really quickly and just text Cassie. Hey, sorry. Things got weird last night. Checking in on you. Love ya.
It says this number does not exist.
What? I'll try it again.
It says slightly snarkier, this number does not exist.
Can I try calling her?
Yep, this number has been disconnected.
She's gonna look at Drex and slowly lower the phone down. Her number's not working? Did she forget to pay her minutes?
So, I don't know. I just... Yeah, what's very much... It wouldn't surprise me if maybe it slipped her mind.
No, she's not stupid.
Not stupid, but sometimes she has a lot on her mind.
I guess. She's gonna share the text, the return text to Drex. I don't think that's very good.
Yeah, that doesn't seem good at all.
It's the kind of thing Sunshine might be able to help with. He's all up into that tech stuff.
Yeah, I think before she talks to Sunshine about it, she's gonna text Teddy. Is Cassie with you?
You get no response.
She's gonna text Teddy again. Call me when you get a chance. Kind of an emergency. And then a little heart. Just to soften the blow. And then she'll ask Sunshine, what the fuck?
Sunshine will get on the case. One last thing, Helena, at some point, a little later in the evening when you're waiting on Sunshine and Cassie and everybody else to get back to you, you will go into the front store. You will go to feed Gilgamesh. I had Agamemnon in my head for some odd reason.
That's also a good name. Maybe that's his middle name.
Yeah, Gilgamesh, Agamemnon, Theodora, just to connect her to.
Yeah. Sure, why not?
When you go to feed the snake, Gilgamesh, standing there looking at you, very docile, as always.
It's me at the snake.
Just thing. And when you finish feeding the snake, I guess you give it a couple of drops of your blood or something like that.
Sure.
To keep it going. You'll turn around and you'll see written in your window, reverse so that you can read it correctly. Time to come to church.
Ah, fuck.
Meanwhile, at the opera house, Teddy, You,
Was there? We getting cars?
yeah, everyone, you get a car, and you get a car, and you get a car,
Sweet.
and you get the Albury, and you get the Albury, and you get the Albury. You are brought up in an elevator to a penthouse upstairs.
Yep.
As you come out of the elevator and start walking down the hall, and you see that there's basically like a couple of like little private booths up here for like, people with money. You see your escort kind of frown a little bit, like he's not too sure something's going on, and he walks and he's like, "Where's the guard?" And as you approach the door, you hear voices. You hear Takamura's voice say, "This is neither the place or the time." And then you hear a much younger woman's voice say, "Well, the Oyaban gets to decide when is the place and when is the time, and the Oyaban has decided that the time is now." "Oh, is this your date?" And as you walk into the room, you notice that Takamura is there, standing near a table. In front of him are three people, two big goon-looking dudes in suits, and a very small, tiny Asian woman who looks like she's 14. And I'm not saying that because she literally looks like she's 14. She looks like she's a child. And she's standing there in front of Takamura with her hands behind her back. And she says, "Is this your date then?" Takamura's like, "Please take Mrs. Theodora downstairs." "Oh, no, I think this is good, this is good." And she motions her head, and one of the goons comes over and grabs you by the arm and pulls you into the room. "She has nothing to do with this." I'll be the judge of that." "Theodora, is it your name, my dear?"
Yes.
"My name is Joy. I'm an auditor. Come to collect debts. If Mr. Takamura behaves with honor, well, you should be able to at least make the second act of the show. You look very good, by the way. Now, Takamura, do you know what the deal is? There's a debt of honor, and it must be repaid, and you know how to do it. Now, you have two choices. You can either do it the traditional way, or you can do it in the contemporary way. But you know as well as I do that at Oni, we prefer traditional over contemporary. And Takamura looks at you, and he looks at them, and he's like, "Very well." And he goes over to the table, and he grabs a knife that's there, and he looks at her, and without a second of hesitation, puts the blade down and cuts off one of his small fingers. The smell of blood reaches your nose instantly, and you're so happy you took the time to feed before you came here. He throws the blade down on the table, and he says, "Will that satisfy?" And Joy says, "That is very good. I am certain the Oyaban will be very pleased with this." "Good. Now take your men and get out of here." He's wrapping a napkin around his finger. The blood is just tickling your nose, the scent of it like a fine, fine vintage of wine. And Joy says, "Very good." She motions, the other goon goes over, wraps the finger, puts it away. Now there's the matter of the other issue. What other issue? Well, everyone feels that your transgression for one who's supposed to be as loyal as you are was quite severe. He requires your thumb. He said, my thumb. Are you out of your mind? I'm not giving you my thumb. I know what I did was... But I'll make it up some other way. She's like, well, you do have another option. Yurei told me to bring back a thumb. She looks at you. But he didn't specify whose thumb I had to bring back. I understand you've been spending a lot of time with Mr. Takamura. Mrs. Theodora, you wouldn't mind giving up one of your thumbs for him, would you?
She kind of looks to Takemura. Don't think I could do that.
No, you don't have to. And he looks with just pure hatred at this young woman in front of him. He takes a breath, grabs the knife, puts it right here in the joint, and looking at her, and you hear the crack of the bone as he pulls the blade down and separates the thumb from the hand. As he does this, the blood gushes out. You can see him bleeding. You know it's a terrible wound he's bleeding. He kind of stumbles a little bit and drops the knife on the table. You can let her go. The Goomba lets you go.
I hesitate for a moment with the thick smell of blood, but eventually I am going to rush over to him.
No, Theodora, it's okay.
No, but you have to wrap it, and she's trying to take his hand in her own and assess the damage. You're losing blood so fast.
And as you grab his hand and turn it over to assess the damage, the bandage on the thumb falls off, and a jet of blood comes out and hits you right in the face. Drips over your lips and into your mouth, and you've never had blood straight from a human before, have you? You remember staring at a coyote in the headlights of your father's truck. You remember the gunshot. And you remember the look in the coyote's eye just before your father shot him right in front of you. There was just utter defiance, utter primal rage, just the beauty of a beast. You feel a howl build up inside of you, deep inside. You feel it shake you. There's something inside of you that has been awoken. You have tasted blood directly from a human for the first time. It's hot. It burns as it goes down your throat. You're holding his hand, and as you look down, you can see claws. Your fingers have transformed, become these long, curved claws, fur on the back of your hands. You feel the fangs in your mouth growing. You look, you see Takamura's eyes growing wide as he looks at your face. He sees what you are. He shoves you back. No, get away from me! He shoves you back, and as he does, blood splashes again, and this time a whole bunch of it goes in your face on you, and the smell is overwhelming. Give me a conviction and self-control roll. Your targets are 8.
I have 1 success.
You're standing in front of the car. You're seeing that coyote that you saw with Owen. Except when you look at him, it's you, naked, covered in fur, on all fours, long ears, long fangs, claws. And you feel this sense of exultation, this sense of freedom, like you've never felt before. Your beast rises out from inside of you. You see red. What do?
When he shoves me away, his hand flies out, but I snatch it. Snatch it by the wrist and those claws. And within seconds, my mouth is covering that gaping wound where his thumb once was attached to his body. And I begin suckling on it.
He grabs the knife on the table and goes, "Daddy, no!" And he stabs you down right into the shoulder. The blade digging all the way inside into your shoulder on the side of your neck. He's like, "No, stop!"
When I rear back, when I see him yelling, I don't feel that knife. I see his jugular. And I can see it twitching under his skin. It's almost like it's yelling. It's not saying, "Don't stop." It's saying, "Look inside me." And as one hand is gripped around his wrist, my other hand is going to come out in a swipe. And I want to dig into that neck. I want to tear away that flesh and see what's underneath. I want to see what's inside for myself.
Your blow is incredibly swift and with a precision that is born out of pure instinct. You don't even think, you just go right for it, and your claws lacerate through his throat, ripping most of it right out and going down into his chest. More blood just splashes out, covering you, filling the entire room with its coppery, warm aroma. When you look at Takamura, you don't see a man that you like. You see a piece of meat, bloody and raw. And then you smell something else behind you. Someone moving. Gun oil. Sweat. Fear. And you know the 3 behind you are moving in on you.
I drop him. I release him, I shove him away, and I turn and I stance and I ready myself. My claws are out. I'm smiling at them, and as I'm smiling, there's just blood and drool coming from my mouth in strings, and I'm just panting and heaving, and I'm gonna lunge, and I'm going to go claws first for the first person in my way.
A little later, in a room that is covered in viscera and blood and flesh, you're on your knees in the middle of the place. You don't think anymore, you just feel. You can hear downstairs the show going on. Hear the music through the floor. You can smell the people down there. your skin itself, the hair on your flesh, when you look at yourself, you're covered in this fine golden fur. Claws still there. Your eyes, you see heat patterns where the blood is. There's a voice inside of you. The voice of a very quiet, shy, reserved, intelligent girl. That voice fades away slowly. Now, you realize in that moment that if this voice disappears, it's gone forever. The thing that's inside of you now, that's filling out your skin, that's making these things crawl out of you, grow out of you, the claws, the ears, the fangs, this monster that's inside of you. If it stays for good. You hear that voice, that intelligent young woman receding. I want you to tell me, do you try to bring it back? Or do you just snarl at it and make it go away?
I love her. Don't want her to go. And I'm deeply terrified of what I see.
You reach out for her. You feel her there, just on the edge. A little later, you come to, you're being gently placed in the back of a car. You are wrapped up in a coat, a big black coat. Underneath it, you're naked, covered in blood, sticky. But you know there's no more fur on you, and when you look at your hands, there's only the hint of the claws, and you can see them slowly receding. And you see Owen placing you in the back seat of the car very gently. Where would you like to go, Miss Theodora? Back to your house?
You know, I can't go back there.
I'll take him. He's dead. Everyone's dead. You killed everyone in there, including the other two that came running in. I've seen some shit, Teddy, but I have no clue how you did what you did in there. It was beyond anything I'd ever seen.
What about Cassie? Did you see Cassie?
She left a little while ago. Your phone's been ringing too, but I don't suppose you were in any sort of shape to... Where do you want to go?
I need to see Nora. I need my dog.
Okay.
What have I done? Owen? What have I done?
I don't know, Teddy. I don't know. I'll take you to Nora's and then I'll go get Prince. But
Thank you.
should know that Aegis is not going to take this kindly.
I know.
All right, we'll deal with that tomorrow. I'll drive you to Nora's.
Yeah.
And he closes the door and gets in the car and drives off. Cassie, you're standing outside Edgewater Hospital. And the streets are empty. It's almost dawn. You look and you see on the wall that maze again, that bloody smiley face that you've been seeing.
Cassie is frantically pacing back and forth in front of the entrance, murmuring to herself, Helena, Drexter, Teddy, Helena, Drexter, Teddy, Helena, Drexter, Teddy. Helena, Drexter, Teddy. 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 And she walks through the threshold.
As you step into the hospital, you get a vision again. You see in front of you this giant maze spread out, moving, lit as if from fires. And as you're looking at this maze spread out in front of you, you start to see the way to the center. You follow along the corridors, following the twists and turns of the maze. The deeper in you go, the surer you are of the direction that you're supposed to go. You eventually find yourself going downstairs. A door opens up in front of you. There's a young woman there dressed in a yellow raincoat and yellow rain pants, and she's got a tiny little backpack on her bag. And she opens the door to you. And when you step into the room, you see another young woman with a big blue overcoat and red pants and also a tiny little backpack on her bag, and she's holding an umbrella. In the middle of this room, which is filled with tools and all sorts of things, you see the man you saw earlier on the stage, the professor, in a suit, except now the jacket's off and his sleeves are rolled up. Cassie. I'm so glad you came. May I show you something? Come here.
Cassie sort of nods.
You're among friends here,
hesitantly.
Cassie.
Okay.
The other two girls come over and they kind of come next to you and they put their hands on your back and are looking at you.
Who are they?
Oh, these are my daughters. This is Mare and this is Night.
Oh. I didn't know our kind could have daughters.
Well, you have a sire, don't you?
I don't. I've never. I don't know. I don't know.
His name is Samael, and unfortunately for you, your sire is part of a group of people called the Sabbat who are, well, not very good or easy to deal with. As he says that, You get a memory comes back to you. You'd gone out to a punk club. You found yourself in a flop house getting high. There was a man there you'd never seen before sitting in a corner. He was writing weird shit on the walls. He didn't look high, but he acted kind of blitzed out of his mind. He was talking really quickly. I remember someone saying he was just passing through it. His name was Sam. You and your friend got high. You settled in for the ride. Next thing you remember, you were on the floor. Sam was on top of you. You were high. You weren't sure, but it looked like he had fangs. Something was dripping in your mouth. You were in the back of a truck being jostled. You were bound in a cemetery. People around you digging graves. Everything had this weird psychedelic look to it. People were melting like wax. Colors were changing. You were on this big, bad trip. You heard someone call out to Sam, calling him Samael. Others showed up. There was a big fight. People were getting decapitated. You remember waking up to Nicola. You remember him now, don't you?
Yeah, they called him Sam.
Yep.
Was I just unlucky?
I guess you could say that. And Samuel gave you something. He gave you a gift. But he also gave you something else. They put it right there in the center of your body.
I hold my hand up. What do you mean?
I'm gonna need that.
What is it?
It's part of a key of sorts. It's something that's going to allow us, you and me and Mare and I, to accomplish something fantastic. Accomplish something remarkable. And he turns around and he shows you, and behind him there's a kind of a shrine. And you can see kind of a mantelpiece and candles. And you can see an old faded poster framed in glass. In front of it there's like this piece of wood in a Ziploc bag. On the poster, there is 4 cards, tarot cards.
Don't you do this? Okay.
And a picture of a woman, a palm reader. And the professor looks at you and says, "We're going to bring the Lady of Light back. You want to help us, Cassie? You want to help us bring the light?"
I go up to the poster and lay my hand on it, like tracing the images, tracing the features on the woman's face. And I look back at him, gripping at my shirt, where this, whatever it is they had put inside of me, lies.
Yeah, okay. Let's bring the light back.
Very good, Cassie. Very good. And on that, my friends,
Yeah. Well, you son of a bitch. 2 glasses of milk, please, you son of a bitch.
And on that moment, fucking over half a year in the making.
As soon as you said poster, I was like, this son of a bitch is gonna fucking show me Odette right now.
Hey, remember that time you cried over my character, Odette? You want to do it again?